Hello everyone, my name is Tenele and welcome back to Tenele's Diary. So today I'm here with Chubby. Chubby is my emotional support baby that was inherited from a good friend. For today's video, I'm making it more of a chit-chat video so y'all can get to know me, but also I want to share my experiences as an international student. I'm going to be going more into the social aspect more than like applications and things like that. As I do share these experiences, oh my gosh, how many times am I gonna say experiences in this video? Keep in mind that I am very introverted. I'd say I'm very socially awkward, but I try my best not to, but I am kind of awkward. Let's be real, I am awkward and I've been told that a couple of times, so I own it. I'm very shy when I'm around people I'm not really used to, so this might have also played a factor in these situations that I'm gonna share. I would like to start with how my first day abroad was. I first went to study in Canada and now I'm currently studying in the US, and I feel like my experience in both places has been very similar. It's just that now that I'm in the US, I really don't care. Like, that's why these like microaggressions and things like that don't affect me as much anymore. But I think when I went to Canada, like especially in my first year there, it hit me real hard. I think it's very different when you see people speak on it on social media, talking about their experiences as Black women. I'm aware of racism in North America. Social media, movies and things like that like gave me the idea of how it may be to experience these things, but I definitely think it's a different ball game when you actually experience them. And I do also feel like, this is just my personal take, but I do feel like people's prejudice can be a bit harsher on people who are Black and African. So there's that like difference that I think I encountered more, because most of the times when you hear stories of people talking about racism and like microaggressions, it's more from Black American people, like Black Canadian people who are from these countries, who are born and bred in these countries. But for me, as a Swazi girl who is born and bred in Eswatini, fresh off the plane into a place where I thought would be a safe space, well, it was a safe space, but let's get into the tea. I'd say the first experience that I can recall that hit me hard, went to an intentionally diverse school, a UWC, and this is where this happened, this specific experience. I was at that school and I don't know, I feel like my mindset going to that kind of a school where everyone is there because they are placing themselves in this situation where they're surrounded by diverse people, you would expect them to be open-minded and kind and ready to learn. Of course, I was expecting people to come in with prejudice, but like I was like, damn! The first experience that happened was, we were standing as a circle. I don't recall if there were any other Black people, and they start talking about like video games, and honestly, I don't really remember, but it was things that I wasn't really familiar with. It was very like North American-esque things. So I wasn't able to add anything to the conversation, but I was intrigued. I was listening, I was like nodding, you know, trying to make friends. I mean, I'm trying my best here. And tell me why like slowly the circle was like moving further and further away from me, until the circle literally closed in front of my face. Like someone put their back to me and I was like, looking back at it, I do feel like it might have been an aspect of who I was presenting myself as, because I definitely probably had a stronger accent than I do now. So all of those things may have come into play to the point that they didn't think I would contribute anything to that conversation. I probably would have at some point, maybe asked questions, I don't know, or maybe I wouldn't have, but I still feel like I found that very rude that they closed me out of the circle, and as someone who's an introvert, that experience just heightened my anxiety about interacting with the people from there. But I feel like this attitude also manifested in other situations. Well, now I'm like, it's not like specifically in that school, but just like in general in Canada and now in the US. For example, in group works, I remember I was a literature class and I was the only black person in the group, or maybe I was the only African person in the group, and literally the whole time I would try to suggest things, they would shut me down. They wouldn't even give me a chance to finish the thought that I was trying to say, or just blatantly ignore that I even said anything. And I feel like those experiences made me very self-aware of the way I speak, because I felt like my accent probably added to that, because in other situations I would be in groups with black girls but who were like North Americans, which made them fit in more and they were accepted more, like people would listen to them. But anyways, that I feel like that's something I also noticed. I would have liked to be given a heads up on those kinds of things, because most of the times I started gaslighting myself into being like, oh, maybe they didn't hear me, maybe they weren't paying attention. Were they unaware? I definitely think they were aware. Ooh, I feel like another situation that was even worse was orientation in my US college that I go to now. Oh my gosh, I feel like I still cringe at that moment. At the school that I go to, they have these orientation games on some nights, and like during freshman year, like your first year, and there was like a game where everyone had to be in circles with strangers, because some people come to these schools with their friends, so they wanted people to mix and mingle. So then they put you in circles. I don't know why these situations happen in circles. I think maybe it's time I avoid circles. Can we start making squares or triangles when we try to have conversation? So we were in a circle and we had to like lay down, and then each person would pop up and say their name, and the rest of the group had to cheer the person who said their name as a way to learn each other's names. And like everyone's going, the line was moving closer and closer to me. I was like, maybe this was a bad idea, you know? But I went along with it because I was like, I gotta get out of my shell, I gotta make new friends. I wanted to try to do something different since I was in a different environment. So your girl's sitting there and I'm like, oh shoot, this line is slowly coming to me, and I'm like, and it got to me. I'm Tenele! They just burst out laughing, and I was just like, oh my god! Oh Jesus! But still, it was very embarrassing. Since that day, I never went back to any of the orientation activities, because why would I try to put myself through that again? So yeah, that's something else you should consider. People won't even try to say your name, because I wasn't expecting anyone to say it perfectly, because I do know, like, say Tenele for some reason is difficult for people, but I digress. People just don't want to try just because they hear a name that's different from what they're used to hearing. They don't want to even give it a chance. So yeah, the last experience that like really stuck with me to this day was a very overt was a very overt aggression, microaggression. I don't even think this one is micro, it's just straight up racist. One person in the house had lost their laptop, and in this house I'm one of three black girls in this house, and I think there was about like maybe 40 people living in the house, and I was one of 3 black girls who lived in that house. So let's say Jane lost her laptop. We have a house meeting, everyone's like, oh my gosh, give us her laptop, she needs her laptop for schoolwork, you know, stuff like that. So the meeting ends and I'm like, oh, let me go do my laundry, you know. And as I'm walking down the hallway, I remember this very vividly. Some girl comes to me, she's like, you better not have stolen Jane's laptop. And I'm like, huh?
Are you normal? Are you normal?
Oh, like there were so many other people in the hallways walking up and down because the meeting had just ended, and you, a Caucasian woman, choose to single me out of all the other people who were walking up and down that hallway, who were white, who were Asian, who were Latino, who like all the races of the world, and you choose me? Just like turned around and walked away. Very like, I don't know, I think the walk was very proud. I think she felt very accomplished after saying that. She was like, I did the Lord's work. I remember I stood at my room door for like a solid 2 minutes, looking around, dazed and confused about what had just happened. I was like, what? To this day, I'm so mad I wasn't able to respond to her because she took me off guard. She caught me off guard, because if she didn't catch me off guard, it would have been on sight.
I'ma scope the scenery out. Watch out. Look, you don't know when I'm coming.
No, okay. I don't promote violence. I feel like I would have been more assertive in my... Like, I don't know. I think I would have said something, but I just stood there like a dum-dum.
One eternity later.
I spoke to her about it and I was like, girl, that wasn't cool. Well, I didn't do it actually. My friend did it for me, but I did it. So she came to me and apologized. She was like, oh my gosh, girl, I didn't know I offended you. It's just a joke. And I'm just like, those are not the kinds of jokes you throw around with people, first of all, that you don't know personally like that. I know that girl.
I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
We were housemates, yeah, but like that's all we were. I didn't know her personally. So yeah, that was the tip of the iceberg about social life, because if it goes into dating, girl, that's a whole different experience. If you guys are interested in me making a video about dating life and things like that, just comment brown hearts below. See you guys next time.